Perfect. So as I say, we'll be looking at Microsoft PowerPoint today, and we'll be looking at those more advanced features so you get the most out of PowerPoint. Now, what I'm going to do to run this presentation is I will literally just have a PowerPoint presentation open and we'll work through it to show all those key features. And let's say I am using the latest version. Don't panic if yours isn't the latest. It's absolutely fine. You'll still be able to find these features in the right places. So as soon as I open PowerPoint, the first thing I'm presented with is this page here. It's just saying good morning to me. I know, Sandra, you're saying you are in the Philippines, so it'll be good evening for you. But we have got all these different options which we can start off with. We can either start a blank presentation or we can go through Microsoft's themes that they recommend us. And a theme is basically a slide deck which has been pre-prepared with all of the infographics, graphics, text boxes, images to make it look nice and neat, depending on what you're looking for. And you can just go in there, you can add your own text and your own photos. Saves you a lot of time having to build out a nice looking presentation. And you can go to more themes by clicking on more themes. And you can see we got lots of different slide decks. You can search for slide deck you want. So maybe I want to do a business slide deck. So it will search online for me or find the slide decks that are being built. And I can just click on one that I want. I can click create and we'll give it a moment. And as you can see, you've got this slide deck now. There's no information in here. So I would go in and I would literally just replace the text with my own information, but all the graphics are there. Now, today I do want to use a blank presentation. So that is what I will be doing. So we'll be working on just a fresh document today, and we'll go from there. Now, one thing that I want to highlight before I get into the actual presentation PowerPoint features is the importance to protect your documents. Now, protect your documents will ensure that you can encrypt the data that's on there. What that means is you'll basically, it's software that will put everything in your presentation into hidden code. So it'll encrypt it, and it's incredibly difficult to crack that if a cyber criminal did gain access. So you might have a presentation with very sensitive information, and it's a very good idea to go ahead and protect it. Now, to do that, it's very simple. You just need to go to the tab at the top of the screen that says File, so very top left-hand corner. And then from there, you have a series of different options. So we're going to go to the one that says Info. And then from here, you have 4 options. Now we're going to protect the presentation. If I click on this, it'll give me a few different options I can use to protect the presentation. And in this one, I'm going to encrypt it with a password. So if I just click on that option, I can then type out a password. Once I'm happy with the password, I can then click OK. And then my document is password protected. Because it's password protected, it's hidden. It's being encrypted as well for me. So that just protects your document. And as I say, it's a very good idea to do. Especially if you're using work computers, or if you're using a personal computer and you're out and about, you might have work or sensitive information on there. It's a good idea just to password protect your documents. And you can do this on all of Microsoft's programs. So you just go to File, Info, Protect Presentation, or Protect Document. In here as well, you can also always open as a read-only. So if you click on this and then you send it to somebody else, or every time you open it, you won't be able to make any changes until you click off read only, which appears at the top of the screen. It's quite obvious. It's a yellow banner at the top of the screen. It's very in your face. You'll be able to just cancel that off. But what it means is it just ensures that if you are sharing the document with other people, or you, for instance, are going into the document, you don't accidentally delete a load of things, or someone else doesn't delete things off because they can't make changes, or you can't make changes until you click off read only. So just another thing to highlight there. Another feature in Microsoft programs is to inspect your presentation. So also inspect if it's a Word document or Excel. And what that does is it just inspects the document, make sure there's nothing hidden in there, nothing you're unaware of, no personal information before you send it on to other people and accidentally expose some sensitive information. So you can literally just click inspect document. And what it does is it gives you a load of options that it can look for. So sometimes when you're working on a document, you might put comments. You don't want people to see the comments if you're sharing that to a wide audience. So you can just get it to look for any hidden comments. Maybe again, it to look for any invisible on the side content. Again, we can hide text in there, and sometimes that hidden text can contain personal information. So just get it to look through, click inspect, and then it will come back with a report to tell you what changes you can make. And you can literally just click a button to make those changes. So just two quick things to make you aware of there. Now, also with all of Microsoft's programs, you have something called an add-in. So you can get add-ins for these, and that includes Teams, Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote. All of them you can add add-ins. They're basically like apps that you can connect to the program to add more features. So if I just go to that, I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. If I click Get Add-ins, it then opens up all of the Office add-ins. So you've got the store here. Most of them are free. There are paid ones that you have to pay for. But you can look at the different add-ins that you can add to PowerPoint to make it more effective, give you more tools. And what I mean by that is you're not restricted to just what PowerPoint has to offer. So maybe I want an add-in for presentation. So I'm just going to type presentations. And then here it will show me all the add-ins for presentations. So you can see I've got lots of different ones here. So there's one here, build professional looking presentations. It's got new templates, so I can add that to PowerPoint and it will give me access to even more of those themes, those templates that I showed you at the beginning. Let's just have a look at some more interesting ones. So I did see one as well earlier where you can actually add in an AI system to PowerPoint. So what that showed, and again, I won't go through too much in here because I could be looking all day because there's so many. But you can add AI to your presentation to PowerPoint, and then that AI can help you build a presentation. So I'm not going to go through this in too much detail because we would be here all day because there are tens of thousands of add-ins. But it's just to be aware of that you aren't restricted to just what PowerPoint shows you. You can add these apps to your PowerPoint as well. And again, to find any of these features, you just go to File and you'll see them all in here. Now, really quick tour of PowerPoint. We're probably all very familiar with the layout of things. As I said, we know that PowerPoint and the Microsoft basic programs have been around for 30 plus years at this point. But PowerPoint, it really, as I say, every time it updates, really they add a few features, but they're also just really changing the graphics, how things look. So I am using that latest model today. Now, in all of Microsoft's programs, you have a tab and you've got ribbons. And I'll be using the jargon of ribbons throughout, but I'll quickly explain that. So at the top of the screen, these are your tabs. So you've got File, Home, Insert, etc. as you go through. And those open up a toolbar, which is known as a ribbon in Microsoft's jargon. So I go to Home, here are my Home ribbons. I go to Insert, here are my Insert ribbons. It's a way that we can navigate around it. It's all the tools related to these different options. Now, the ribbons are, as you can see, divided up. So you've got clipboard, slides, font, paragraph, drawing, and they are literally ribbons. And it's just helps you find tools related to certain points. So if you're using text, for instance, you've got your paragraph ribbon and your font ribbon. You can use those two to format everything. If you're drawing shapes or text boxes, you've got your drawing ribbon. And if you want to insert anything into the document, you have all your different options up here. And then below that, at the left-hand side of the screen, this just shows you all of your slides. So we've only got one slide at the moment, so we can only see one. And in the center of the screen, we can see our actual slide we're working on. And then just below this, you can see it says click here to add notes. If you see very subtly, if I just raise my mouse up a bit onto this line here, and then drag it up, it just makes the notes box a bit bigger and we can put notes in there. But I will touch on notes later on in the session. So that's just a really quick tour. Now we're going to get straight into as I say, the presentation here. But really quickly, if I want to create new slides, I'm just showing you we've got this title slide at the moment. If I want to create a new one, I can literally just right click in this box over here in the left hand side, and I can just click new slide. It'll give me a new slide to work on. I can also go to the slides ribbon found in insert because we're inserting a new slide, and there's an option called new slide. And I can add a slide with a certain formatting in here. So you can see they've got ones laid out for us. Let's just add a blank slide in there. As you can see, we've got a blank slide. So I'm going to start off quite basic. I will get more advanced as I go through. But the first thing I want to go through is the formatting options for shapes, text boxes, images in PowerPoint. So for instance, I'm going to insert a shape, and shapes act as text boxes in PowerPoint. I'm going to insert a square in here. I'm just going to put a square just around here. So perfect. Got this square. And I want to put that in the center of the page, so I can just drag that and sort of put it what looks like the center. But how do I know it's truly the center? Well, PowerPoint will guide you into how to format this. So for instance, if I click on this square and just slowly start to drag it, you'll see this very, again, it's quite subtle on the screen, but it's like a faded dotted line. That will suddenly appear. If it's going across the screen, it's telling you it's directly in the center of the screen. And if I drag it across, you'll get the horizontal and the vertical. And once those two appear, it's telling me that is dead center. Now I could sit there, drag around a shape for a few minutes, trying to format it that way, and it could waste my time, but I can use an option in PowerPoint that'll do it for me. And again, if I just click on the shape and I go to the, again, found in the Home tab, you can see there's an option that says Drawing, and I'm simply going to go to this Arrange option. Arrange is so useful because if I, as I say, click on that shape, if I go to Arrange, go down to Align, I then have these options to align it where I want it to sit on the screen. So I'm going to align it to the center. So that's now in the center. And I want to align it to the middle. And now that is dead center of the screen. So it's just a way that we can align things, keep things looking neat and in place. Now, again, you saw I tried to draw a square a minute ago by dragging it, and we can drag these corners to make a square. And it won't quite end up being a square. Now, there's a way that we can get it to draw a perfectly symmetrical shape. So whether it be a circle, square, and the way to do that is as we're dragging, you just hit Shift on your keyboard and it will fill in the rest until you have that perfect shape. So if I did it like so it's trying to draw a rectangle at the moment because of how big I've done this. But if I try and do by dragging the corner, there we are. So almost, there we are. So it's drawn a square for me right there. So if I just drag it, as you can see, just start off dragging, hit Shift, and it's very subtle, but it does it for me. So you might not even be able to see it because it's literally doing it for me. If I drag across, it's a bit easier. So if I want a square that's this big, hit Shift, and again, mine's a bit delayed. There you are, it will do the square for me. So it'll draw a perfect square. Now, that'll also do circles, whatnot. Again, it's just if you want the perfectly symmetrical shape, just as you're dragging, hit Shift on your keyboard, it will fill it in. Now, you can also duplicate shapes in your presentation. So you can see I've got this one here. I could click on it, right-click, copy, right-click, paste, or I could even use the key commands on my keyboard. I could click it, Control C, and then Control V to copy and paste. But we don't have to do that. It's a waste of time. There's too many steps in the way. We can simply duplicate a shape or an entire text box or an image by clicking on the shape, holding down the Control key on the keyboard, and then dragging the shape, and it will do a perfect copy of the shape. And now I can highlight both of these, hit Control and drag, and it will do a perfect copy of both of them. I can do this, hit Control and drag. And again, we can do as many as we want. And then again, you can align these either using the red dotted lines that appear, and it will tell you if they're equally spaced. And if we've got quite a few, you would want to use this. So I'm just going to perfectly align these as we saw a moment ago. So that's good enough for me. And then we can basically, you can see this is slightly off center here. This one's got a wider gap. And again, I can move each individual one, but that is a waste of time. So again, I can simply click, drag over every shape, select them all, go to Arrange, and then there is a powerful option in here called Group. And that'll basically make all the objects that you selected group into effectively one block. So if I just click that, instead of being 8 separate ones, it's now one movable piece. And then I can just use my alignment tools to perfectly position that on my screen. Oh, I made that pop up. So as I say, that align feature is very powerful, very useful. Saves a lot of time, especially if you're having to move things around subtly on your screen. And that grouping option is very useful. And then just to simply ungroup them, you just click on it again, go to Arrange, and you can click Ungroup. And then they become 8 individual ones again. Now, I've got a nice slide here. Maybe I want to use that same format later. As I say, these act as text boxes. So maybe I want to use this same layout later on in my presentation. Now, to do that, you can simply copy the slide and then simply paste it. Or if you want to duplicate the slide to use it again, you can right click and you can duplicate slide, and it will duplicate that same slide for us. So again, just some time savers. So if you do make this really nice slide and then later on in the presentation you want to use it again, you don't have to sit there and perfectly recreate the whole thing. You can just duplicate the slide. Saves a lot of time. Now again, I'm going to go ahead, just get another blank slide for us today. And we're going to explore the Insert tab. So as I said, the Insert tab, that's when we want to insert anything into our presentation. And there's lots of very useful tools in here that people don't make too much use of. So let's begin with looking at pictures. So we can insert pictures into our presentation. And again, very useful if you want to bring it to life, maybe showcasing it in your organization, family, personal life, whatever it might be. I'm going to insert a picture. You can either insert it from your device, from a mobile device, maybe you're connecting via Bluetooth, online pictures as well. So you can click online pictures, you can surf the internet. If I click on there, I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. It will go to Bing because it's Microsoft Bing, and you can search images in here, click on the image, and it will add it into your presentation. But I'm going to insert an image from my device. So if we go to this device, and I'm just going to go to Save Pictures. Let's have a look what we've got. I've got some random things in here. Let's just add one of me running. So that's an image of me going. That's me running. I'm an avid runner. I insert the picture into PowerPoint, and as you can see, this design feature appears at the right-hand side of the screen. And this just allows us to add a certain design to that image. So for instance, I could do this and then add some text to the side. Again, it just brings it to life there, makes it look more appealing. So PowerPoint will suggest ideas to you to support building a presentation, making it look better. But we also have the features, as I say, if you click on the image itself, at the top of the screen, a toolbar will appear, a tab will appear to format the picture. So you can then go ahead and start formatting it as you see fit. So another thing that we can do, and again, I will go to again, blank slide. Another thing that we can do is we can add online videos in here too. So again, if we just look across on here, we can go to media. And in media, you can add video to your PowerPoint presentation. So again, if you save the video to your device, you can click this device. You can also look at stock videos, or you could add online videos to your presentation. So if I click online videos, it asks me for a web address. So what I'm going to do on my other screen is I'm really quickly going to open up a video. You won't see this. I'm basically going to go onto YouTube. So let's go onto YouTube quick. As I said, won't see this. I will drag it across any second, just in case there is any my emails or anything open over here. So just going to go across to YouTube. We'll drag this across to you in a second. And then we're going to go, just going to look at PowerPoint. So dragging this across, as you can see, we've got YouTube. I've typed in PowerPoint. Let's just choose a random video on here. Let's just go to get started. PowerPoint. Let's wait for this advert to play. So again, depends which video you want to use. As I said, I've got an advert here, so I'll just wait for that to finish. Got another advert. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the video and embed it into my presentation. So on the video I want, and again, you can use any video on any website. Yeah, Nara, I see you got your hand up.
Sorry, you don't have to answer straight away. So when we embed videos in presentations, will that make sure that it's played when you are actually doing the presentation? Because I've made this mistake several times and just put a link in and then it wouldn't play.
Yeah, you can. So the easiest way to do it is like this. So if you just right click on the video, and then you can copy the video URL. You can even go to a very specific time in the video if you just want that part of the presentation to play. And you can do copy URL at current time. So when you're showcasing the presentation, it will literally play the video from that point in the video, just so you don't have to skip through. But I'm just going to do the whole video. So copy video URL. If we go back across to PowerPoint, you can see up here, I would then paste the URL in there. It will then find the video for me. So that's the right one there. We know it's working. You can click play just to make sure it is the right video. And then I'm going to insert that into my presentation. So we'll give it a moment. So it's inserted in there. I can just resize that so it's not too big. And again, if I try and click to play on it right now, it won't play. But if I go through to my slideshow, and I will quickly show you this, so we'll swap these over, and we'll get to that one. I should have gone from current slide, but I didn't. So here's the video. You can see we've got the play button, literally dead center of the screen. And we can literally just click on that, and it will play the video for you by embedding the video. So as I say, that play button will appear when you go onto the slide. But if you're actually looking at the slide deck itself, the play button won't work. So you have to actually start the presentation to go through. And again, it just gives you the control just by clicking on that and letting it play. Now, another really useful feature in PowerPoint, it's one a lot of people don't actually know exists, is adding a cameo to the presentation. Now, in the Insert tab, and again, this may be in only the latest versions of PowerPoint. I'm not too sure when they brought this in. I know in the model down from mine, it was there. I'd use it if I was doing work meetings, team meetings, and I had a presentation. What I do is I click Cameo, and I can insert either to just that slide, or I can insert it to all slides. And what it does, and again, because I'm using my camera right now, it's not going to work. But what I'll do is I'll see if it's like, well, I'm going to turn my camera off in the meeting. But it might not work just because I got my, yes, there we are, perfect. So you can see it now adds me on the screen. So you can see me here, I'm talking. And I've added that to every slide. So now if I play my presentation from the beginning, and again, I'll swap these around. You can see it's a live camera of me. So I can have my presentation on the screen. It'll be up here. So I have my presentation up here, and I can literally put myself on the presentation and chat away. So you'll see me the whole time on every slide down here, talking away. And adding that Cameo, as I said, it just, and there's a picture of me running again, it just adds me onto the screen. Rather than if you are in a team meeting or a Zoom meeting, rather than having you separately on the screen somewhere, you can literally just integrate yourself into your presentation like so. And you can also use that Cameo feature to add yourself literally just to one slide as well. It doesn't have to be on all slides. So I'll turn that camera off on there. I'll come back on Zoom. There we are, back over on Zoom. So again, a really useful feature, and you can choose how you want this to look as well. So if I go to Cameo again, say we do have it on all slides, you can actually format how this looks. So you've got some different options. Do you want this circle with a board around it? Do you want it to fade out into the screen? You can also make it as big as you want, and you can move it around as well. So really useful feature, as I say, which just puts yourself into the presentation. It doesn't record you, but it's for when you actually present. It's aware that as soon as you go to present it, and you're doing it to an audience, maybe online, you can put yourself on top of your presentation right there. So again, a very useful one to use. Now, another feature found in the Insert tab, found under Media, is the ability to add audio. So you can either add in audio snippets from your PC, or you can record audio as well. So I could go on here, I could click record audio. I could click record, start recording. I know it's recording because this number here starts increasing. And then once I'm happy, I can click OK. And it's just recorded everything I've said. So when I'm playing the presentation, there may be something really useful which I'm worried I'll forget about when I'm actually presenting. And so what I can do is I can record that, so me talking over the particular slide. And then when I go to present, I can literally just click on the play button while the presentation is going, and then it will have me walking through that key point so I don't forget. And again, also useful if you're sharing slideshows to people and you're not doing a presentation, but they're just going to go through it themselves. You can add an audio clip on there so they actually know what they're looking at. So again, another useful feature. And then finally, screen recording. For me, probably the most useful feature that I've used is the ability to record the screen. And I've used screen recording not just for recording my PowerPoint presentation. I've used it to record other things on my screen. So it can be anything. And then from there, I've added it into my presentation, or I've even just saved that file. So I've got a video. So you can go to Media, Screen Recording. What I mean by that is I'll just choose the box. So it'll then ask you to choose how much of your screen you want to record. And this will be your desktop screen. So it's not just your PowerPoint. So let's say we'll do that much of my screen. And then when you're happy to start, you can just click record. So it'll start going 3, 2, 1. Now it's recording. I know it's recording because the number up here is going. I can also pause it at any point or stop it. But in here, I can do a walkthrough. I can show people how to do various things. I can show them that this is a PowerPoint I was using a moment ago. We'll go back to my other presentation. So we got this one. And as you see, it doesn't just have to be my PowerPoint I'm recording. So I could say, look, this is how you embed a video. This is how you add a Cameo to your video. Once you're happy, stop it. And then it adds it in. Now let's get a nice new slide in there just so that isn't, let's just copy that one, paste it into there, and we'll delete that. Okay, so you can see here's my screen recording. So I'll just format that back to that size. And then again, if I go to my slideshow, now again, I've just swapped those because I've got multiple screens. You can see here's my screen recording. I'm going to turn the sound off so I don't hear myself. Click play. You now have a video in your presentation showcasing really anything. So if you're sharing that out, you can even do walkthroughs, you can do training modules, you can do demos, all in there. Really nice and simple on the screen via that screen recording. And again, I haven't just used that for PowerPoint. I've used that in general. So I've recorded things. So maybe I've recorded this screen. I can then right click on screen recording in my presentation. And I can go to save media as. Now from here, I will save the media file. So let's just save that. And then if I go back to, I'll just bring it up on this screen just so I'm not showcasing anything if there's any sensitive information. And we'll just open that and I'll show you what this looks like any second. And now you can see the video. The video is playing, not in PowerPoint, but actually as a media file. And I can share those files. I can even create a video. And I remember in a previous job that I used to do, I used to screen record in PowerPoint. I would then save those files and I'd send them to a video editor and he would then build a video for me. So it's a useful tool that you can have PowerPoint open for to record your screen, to do something completely unrelated, and then just save a file as its own media file to then share. It doesn't have to just be PowerPoint. I just use PowerPoint as the program that allows me to record, and then I save it as something unrelated to PowerPoint. Now, also in PowerPoint, you have the ability to bring things to life with transitions and animations. So transitions is the transition from one slide to another. So how you want it to appear. So you have all these options up here. So loads of options. You can choose whatever one you want. Let's just go with morph. So that means, and again, it will show you what this looks like. So we can actually see how it's looking. But you can choose any of these. You can preview it. So it'll show you what it looks like. Again, we'll do slightly longer duration there. My one isn't actually working for some bizarre reason. It was before this. I've probably done too much, but you can literally fade it in. You can use any of these effects, and it will be the transition from one slide to the next. You also have the ability to add timing. So some people automate their entire presentation. So they literally don't have to click any buttons, especially if they want to almost make it like a video. So they might not even be presenting over it. They might have recorded all the video, screen recorded, added in voice clips. So they don't actually need to do anything other than just let it run. And so they can do this by choosing how long it lasts. They can apply it to all. And again, this is just the timing. So again, do you want it on the click of a mouse? No, if you want to automate it, you can do it after, let's say we'll do it after 10 seconds, it will then move to the next slide. And again, people automate their entire slideshows like that, so they don't have to click it or do anything. Patrick, I see you got your hand up there. Got a question? And if your microphone doesn't,
if I have a microphone, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. So is that automatically starting at a certain point? Or,
yeah, so if you
on mouse click, okay.
Make sure on mouse click is off. And then if you just instead click after, and then you can choose the time, and it will literally do it on that time. It will then transition to the next one. So yeah, and same thing goes for animations as well. So on animations, you can just obviously a lot of us probably use this. You can animate individual things in your presentation. So maybe I want each of these boxes to appear in. I could add an animation to this. So let's just say I'm just going to have each of these fade in. Let's just use a different one just to make it make it more interesting. I'll do the first four, just otherwise we'll be here all day. And you can see it applies a number. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know that's the order they're going to appear in. And again, if I go to animations, so I would need to click on one of these boxes for this to appear. But over at timing, we can do it on click, or again, we can do it with the previous, so they all appear at the same time. So if I click on that, I'll show you what that looks like. If I do with previous, they'll all go with previous, or I can do after previous. Again, you can play around with that. You can preview that over here. You have the preview option, but it's a lot of playing around with to see how you want it to work. And again, you can add all your timings in there. So how long do you want it to actually maybe fade in? how long do you want it to delay? So do you want there to be a delay between them moving in or not? And also you have an animation pane. So you can see we've got advanced animation. So in animation pane up here, we'll drag this out a bit just so you can see it a bit better. You've got the order of things in here. You can actually move these around so you can change the order as well. So just by clicking and dragging these around, you can see the numbers are now changing from there. And you can click play from, and then it will just show you what that looks like. But again, entirely up to you how you want that to look. You can use these timing features to time the whole thing and let it move through as you wish it to move through. As I said, I don't really use animations myself. I will use more transitions, so it will actually transition the slide from one slide to another, just to keep timing if I wanted it as almost like a video format. So I know exactly how long my audio recording is or my video recording. I would time it that the slide will not change until the end of that, and that way everything's fluid. But for me, I don't really use animations. It's just transitions that I make the most use of. But just to highlight, you have those timing features in there. Now, another incredibly useful feature, as I mentioned, are notes. So at the bottom of the screen, if I drag up, you can see we have click to add notes. Now in here, this is where I would put all the information that I need to include in my presentation. If I'm doing a live presentation like I am right now, I would put the notes so I don't forget what to say. And you can put all your speaker notes in there and no one will see this. So I could just write, let's just put speaker notes for Pres. And then I'm just going to copy that. And just so we can fill it out with some text, let's just add that. In here, if you go to the home menu, home tab, you can add bullet points. You can format it with paragraphs. You can change the font. You can make the text bold. So exactly as you would format text, you can make it however appealing it is to you. And then to see this, if I go to slideshow, and then let's just go to the very start of the slide, this is presenter view. And this is what I use with every presentation that I do if I'm operating on PowerPoint. I often have two screens set up, and on the other screen, I have this, so no one can see it. But again, it doesn't matter if you only have one screen, because if you do share your screen, depending on what program you're using, when you go to share screen, it will actually ask you what window you want to share. So I'd share my PowerPoint window, and I'd have this one loaded up. I might have it slightly smaller in the corner down here. But in general, I will have this open and I'll be looking at this permanently. Now, if you do have two screens, you can switch it to the other screen by going to the top to display settings and then swapping presenter view and slideshow. So now you can see the slideshows on this screen. Yes, it's blank. There's nothing on that page, unless I was to turn my camera on, like I showed you a moment ago. But I'm going to keep it on this screen so you can see presenter view. Now, again, presenter view, one of the most useful tools in PowerPoint, because there are several features in here that people don't make use of. Now, I'm going to go across to the slide I added the notes to. So you can see this is the one I just added my speaker notes to. So they will appear here. And again, because I'll be sharing the other screen, no one will see this. And I can literally just look at my screen and I can just read them off the screen and people won't know I'm actually sat there reading it. Alongside that, you can format how big you want all of these to appear. So it will show you what your next slide is, just so you have some pre-warning there, but I'll keep that one quite small. I normally keep the speaker notes quite large on my screen. But you can also use these features. So for instance, this pen here is a laser pointer. And you can, as you can see, I've got this red dot on my screen now. And you can actually point to certain things on the screen. I'll show you what that looks like if I swap it around. So you can see, if I go to my laser pointer again, you can now see my laser pointer. And you can literally highlight things on your screen for people to see. It also has a pen feature. So again, you can draw on the screen. So I could circle things. You can change the pen color as well. So we could go yellow. So I could circle things, I could tick, I could say no. And again, if I show you what that looks like on a live presentation using the pen, As I'm talking through the presentation, I could be underlining things, I could highlight things like so, and you can draw lots on the screen. Also, in there, you have a highlighter, so you can highlight blocks of text. And there's an eraser as well, so I can rub out these lines, so I can get rid of all of these too. So really useful if you want to point to certain things on your screen or highlight certain things so people can actually see what you're talking about. You also have the ability to see every slide on your screen and just jump to certain slides quickly. So maybe you want to quickly jump back to a slide, you can, just by clicking into the slide you want to jump into. You can also add subtitles. So you might have people who are hard of hearing. This is a very good one to have, again, if you are presenting, because it will pick up as I'm speaking. So you just click on this. What I'll do is I'll swap it back so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to toggle those subtitles now, as I showed you. And if I start talking, it's listening to me right now. And you can see it is adding subtitles as I'm talking. And again, it's very useful to anybody who may have hearing difficulties or may have their sound off or broken. You can add those subtitles in there for them and it will just record as I'm talking. It will add all the grammar in there and it'll make it look really nice and neat for you. So again, very great feature to have on there. Again, you have the ability to toggle your camera. I can't at the moment, so I can't add that Cameo because I'm using my camera on Zoom. And then finally, just some more additional features, which I won't go into too much detail with here. But you do have the ability to, if you need to, for whatever reason, you can just quickly hide your screen by making it go black, and then no one will be able to see what's on your screen at all, other than you. Maybe your presentation accidentally closes or something. You can use that one, but that's just a useful feature on there. So again, presenter view, really useful tool. I always have that open. And then finally, the final thing I just want to touch on, and this is included in all of the Microsoft 365 Office programs, is the ability to collaborate on your presentation with other people. And it's something that's useful, especially in a place of work. We would often share presentations or Word documents or Excel documents so that our colleagues could then add to it or edit it. Or you can even share it to people in your personal life. So you can go to share. I have a few options here. I'm going to share the presentation. And then from here, it'll ask me how I want to do this. So I could either attach it to, I could attach presentation to a email. I could email it out as a PDF. So if I don't want people editing it, if I want people just looking at it and telling me their feedback, I can send it as a PDF. Or I could save it to OneDrive. And again, I'll have to log into OneDrive. Depends what you got linked on there. But you can then share that to other people. And if you go to the review tab, in here, you have quite a few options that you can go through. I haven't actually added anything in here. But again, like all those Microsoft 365 Office suite of programs, you can share these. You can add comments in here by clicking on comments. I won't go into too much details. It's something I go into more depth on in Word sessions rather than PowerPoint, because PowerPoint, I'm just keeping it simple to making a PowerPoint. But again, just to make you aware that in all of those Office features, you have the ability to share your presentation. Now, a top tip with PowerPoint, and it's something that's caught me out before, I'll give you a story in a moment, is I once had a whole presentation really nicely formatted. I saved it, I put it onto a memory stick. I went to an office because I was going to do a presentation over in London. And it was nothing to do with my workplace. So I was going into a completely different organization to present to their staff. Put my drive into the computer, open my PowerPoint, and it looked completely different. Half the features were missing, half of the images, because they had a much older version saved to their computer, that it didn't open everything as I wanted. And so I basically had to present that presentation from memory. One way to avoid this, as a top tip, is save a copy. So back up your presentation. So yes, have your presentation saved like this. as a copy ready to use for someone else. I see it happen to you as well. It's really annoying. But the way around it is, and again, top tip, save a second copy as a PDF. So you can just go to save as, and from here, save it as a PDF file. Again, it will tell you if it looks right once you're happy with that. That way you have a PowerPoint copy and a PDF copy. The reason for that is where it will save as a PDF, it will have all your pages still like this. Obviously, the animations, transitions won't work because it's a PDF, but it will still look the same, and you'll still be able to open the PDF on someone's computer and just walk through the PDF document. It's a top tip, just so you don't get to somewhere and the PowerPoint doesn't work, because it doesn't work on that computer. And if I'd had a PDF, it would have been so much more helpful than not having anything, because at least I'd be able to still show them what we're looking at and still talk it through. So that's just a top tip there. But that really is everything I wanted to touch on today. Again, there are so many features in PowerPoint, and they are constantly adding new features. And the way to keep up to date is if you just go to the Help tab. Microsoft do have a help option. You can even contact support on there, and they even have training, and they show you what new features they are adding into Microsoft programs every day. So it's constantly evolving, but there is so much you can do and integrate into PowerPoint. So go ahead, play around, see what you can do with that. And thank you so much for coming onto the session today. Please look out for any future sessions on Eventbrite. I do run lots of upskill sessions with the Sussex Digital team. We provide lots of support, especially to the healthcare sector. But if there's any digital upskill you want to go through, I do presentations on AI, chatbot AI, Outlook, PowerPoint, Microsoft, you name it. I will do those presentations. So have a look on there. But thank you so much for coming. Are there any questions? Feel free to pop it in the chat. But if not, that is